Okay, are you ready to learn how to write for Rubric 8? This is prompt 4A only in Task 2, and that points out one of the biggest problems is that you are used to thinking about uh, a rubric being associated with an entire prompt. Well, there's a 4A and a 4B. 4A is for Rubric 8 and 4B is for Rubric 9. So you need to write enough on 4A in order to score well for Rubric 8. So let's take a look. Okay, this is the prompt for the literacy 4A. Explain how you elicited and built on student responses to promote thinking and apply the essential literacy strategy using related skills to comprehend or compose text. Of course, by now you've chosen comprehension or composition, and keeping in mind that all of Rubric 8 comes from 4A and the video. So video evidence must be there. You can talk about it all you like in your commentary, but unless the score can verify what you're saying, it won't count. So you're going to find examples in your clips where in asking questions or leading discussion, you elicited student responses related to your SSE. How did you promote thinking and apply literacy strategy using related skills? Okay, you also want to talk about building responses to explicitly extend, portray, and clarify your SSE. How did this promote thinking? You want to show how you facilitated interactions among students so that they can evaluate their own abilities to apply. So going back for just a minute, what are we talking about here? Eliciting student responses. So how are you getting them to think? This is asking questions and leading a discussion. So this is exactly what you need to have for 4A. We talk about how we want to see the students and not you, but still, you're the leader of the students, right? So you're going to be in the tape. So you want to build on student responses that extend, portray, or clarify your SSE. Now remember, your SSE for literacy is going to be the literacy strategy and related skills. The SSE for math are conceptual understandings, procedural fluency, mathematical reasoning, or problem solving. So how did this promote thinking and apply literacy strategy using related skills? So you want the students to learn to apply the strategy. You facilitated interactions among students so they can evaluate their own abilities to apply. Look at the math one. Again, all of Rubric 8 is going to come from 4A and from the video. Explain how you elicited and built on student responses to promote thinking and develop understanding of mathematical concepts. So you're going to find examples in your clips where you were asking questions and leading a discussion. You elicited student responses. How are you getting them to answer questions? How is this related to mathematical reasoning or problem solving to develop understanding of a mathematical concept? So again, there's those words: explicitly, extend, portray, and clarify. How is this related to mathematical reasoning or problem solving? You facilitated interactions among students to develop understanding of mathematical concept. You really, 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 really need to look at your URLP, your Understanding Rubric Level Progression, so that you can see what they have as examples and a more concise description of what a 3, a 4, and a 5 look like. But here's some examples. This is a literacy example. I elicited and built on student responses to promote thinking on clip 1, 330 to 357. She talks about the activity And then she makes the argument, therefore, this promoted student 7 to apply the essential literacy strategy using the related skills. And again, also elicited his response. So notice how she's bolding some very important words: elicited, response, facilitating. Very clever. And here's for the math, 4A. Um, an example of when I elicited and built on student responses can be seen on clip 1. Askley, this is very good. I asked him, how did you know that? So you can quote yourself, and you see this is a higher ordered type of thing. So it's not just what is it, but how do you know it's that? And this elicited the student to think about how he knew which number is greater. Clarified and extended, sorry, I didn't mean to go do that. Clarified and extended his thinking by asking. So asking this question that builds on the other one, what place value is that? And then she talks about how it built on their mathematical reasoning and of comparing numbers. And why she says that, because they had to think about why it makes sense. And then she says that I facilitated interactions among students, and she talks about what she had them do and where it was that she did it. And so always very good work. So this is all the work that we see as examples that I use are all proficient and above. I'm not going to say if they're 3, 4, or 5, but you're not going to see any examples of anything that makes under a 3. So this is rubric 8. This is a course for literacy, and you will score a 1 if you do all the talking. So, or if there's significant content inaccuracies. So make sure it's a discussion. That's important that you get a discussion going. You also want to make sure that the questions that you ask are higher ordered. So know what and who and when, but why and how and explain. So surface level questions is a 2. But you want to make sure that you are getting them to think. Also, you want the questions to support the SSE. That's also very important. Build on their responses. So once they ask a question, then you build on that with another question. So you're constantly building. And then, if you can, you get them to start responding to one another. So let's say that you've got John that has said the answer, then you can turn to Sally and say, Sally, do you think John is correct? And Sally can say yes, and you can say, tell John why his answer is correct. Or, how can you help John understand this answer? So getting them to evaluate their own abilities to apply the strategy by being able to use it in ways in their interactions with one another. So this is all very important. Rubric 8 for deepening student learning with the math. Again, don't do all the talking and make sure you don't have any significant content inaccuracies. Make sure there's a discussion. Ask higher ordered questions. Your questions need to support your SSE. You need to build on the responses from the students, and you need to facilitate students responding to one another. Candidate facilitates interactions among students to develop understanding of mathematical concepts. I'm going to go back just for a second to the literacy one. So it's important that you notice this is level 4 plus. So that means that you have to get all of this and this. So you want to facilitate interactions among students, but notice they add another kind of little layer here at the literacy so they can evaluate their own abilities to apply. With the literacy strategy, remember what we're after is getting the students to be able to use these strategies independently and really without even thinking. So our ultimate goal is that they're using the strategies without really thinking, oh, I remember that strategy, and using it that way. So it just becomes second nature. So how can you get them talking about that and evaluating their own abilities to apply? Okay, math and literacy is done for 4A, task 2. And that is Rubric 8 in a nutshell. And I'll be back with more on Rubric 9 in just a little bit. I hope that you're catching up and doing well, and you're going to get it done. Bye.